All right, today we're going to dig into a really fascinating take on education. It's this idea that real knowledge, actual wisdom, has to be built on a moral foundation. So let's jump right in and see what that's all about. And really, it all boils down to this one big question. I mean, think about it for a second. We're surrounded by super smart, highly educated people, right? But sometimes they make choices that just lead to total chaos. It kind of makes you wonder, is just knowing a bunch of stuff enough? Or is there, like, a key ingredient that's missing from how we usually think about learning? So the whole idea we're exploring here is that education without some kind of moral compass isn't just neutral. It can actually be harmful. I mean, it risks just making people better and more efficient at doing the wrong things. The argument is that we don't have an information crisis. We have plenty of that. What we have is a wisdom crisis. Okay, so if that's the big problem, then what's the solution? Well, this curriculum, the Godly Learners series, it suggests a totally different path. And it's not about throwing out academics or anything like that. It's about grounding all of it in something way, way deeper. And this framework is built around a really core choice, which comes from the book of Romans. On one side, you have what's called the carnally minded path. Think of this as education that's all about the physical world, just facts, no spirit. And the argument is that path leads to a dead end. But then, on the other side, you've got the spiritually minded path. This is where you bring knowledge and a higher truth together. And that's what leads to life and peace. It's a pretty huge difference when you think about it. Okay, so that's the big picture philosophy. But what does it actually look like in, say, a real classroom? Let's get practical. We're going to look at a 6th grade math lesson that shows exactly how you can turn simple numbers into a tool for making, well, godly choices. So the whole lesson kicks off with a really famous story from the Bible. Daniel saying no thanks to the king's fancy food. But here's the twist. The lesson frames it not just as a story about faith, but as a kind of real-world experiment. Daniel was basically using observation to compare 2 different choices, and he picked the one that both honored God and, well, got better results. And boom, this is what shows the outcome so perfectly. It's not just a story anymore. Now it's data. This simple little bar chart makes what Daniel observed totally visual. You can't really argue with it. You can see in a split second that the health score for the vegetable group is way higher. The data makes the wisdom of his choice crystal clear. And here's the crucial part. The lesson connects that data right back to the original text. So this isn't just some random math problem they made up. It's about a principle that's demonstrated right there in Scripture. Those numbers on the chart, they're just reflecting an observed truth from the Bible. It's a direct line from a math skill to a spiritual principle. Right, so the point isn't just about bar charts. That's just the start. The lesson then opens up to show how other ways of visualizing data can also be tools for discernment, really, for seeing the truth that's kind of hidden inside a bunch of numbers. Next up, you've got the line graph. And in this way of thinking, it's more than just a way to plot points. It's a tool to see trends over time. So imagine you're tracking the temperature every day. Being able to see the trend, that big picture taking shape, that's a kind of wisdom, right? You're spotting patterns that just one single number would never show you. I mean, look at this table of raw data. It's just a list of numbers. You can read down the list, 70, 72, 75. But the story isn't jumping out at you, is it? Is it getting warmer overall? Colder? It's kind of hard to tell. But the second you plot this on a line graph, bang! The pattern of the temperature going up and then coming back down is instantly obvious. That's where visualization becomes a tool for real insight. And last up, there's the histogram. This is presented as a way to find, like, the heart of the data. What's the central truth? The example they use is pretty cool, measuring the height of a king's soldiers. A long list of individual heights is basically just noise. But when you put it in a histogram, you suddenly see the truth of the army as a whole. What's the most common height? What's their general size? You're seeing the big picture, the collective reality, instead of just a bunch of separate facts. All right, so let's tie this all up. Yeah, these are definitely practical math skills, no doubt about it. But in this framework, they're meant to be so much more. They're tools for observation, for comparison, and in the end, for wisdom. It all connects right back to that main goal we talked about, living a life of peace. And just look at how the homework assignments are set up. These aren't just boring chores to get through. Every single one is framed as a little exercise in gathering wisdom. Comparing your snack choices, tracking the temperature in your room, asking your family about their favorite pizza toppings, it's all practice. Practice for using data to make smarter, better, wiser choices in your actual life. So let's just boil it all down. The big idea here is that raw data by itself is just noise, right? But graphs are the tools that let us actually see it. They help us find the story that's hiding in the numbers. And at the end of the day, the goal of learning this stuff isn't just to pass a test. It's about learning how to make truly wise choices that lead to a good life, a life with meaning, with peace. And all of this really leaves us with one last, pretty powerful question, because this whole approach kind of redefines what learning is even for. It's not just about collecting facts in your head, it's about actively seeking truth. So maybe the question for all of us is, as we learn new things, what truths are we actually trying to find?